What's up, Quad Cortex users? There's been a new update. Not just one update, not anything that we were expecting here, actually. Two updates, kind of, if you want to count this as two updates. CorOS 3.2 and Cortex Control 1.3 are now available. This was a little bit of a surprise from Neural because if you go back to the last update where they were saying everything was delayed, everybody was flipping out saying how annoying it is that soon is not soon enough. We have this development update saying that 3.1.1 is going to be late. And we didn't have 3.1.1, obviously. We are skipping right to 3.2. So kudos to them that they're kind of making up for that lost time and giving us 3.2 instead of sticking with the 3.1. Let's take a look at what it's got. There's a lot of cool stuff in this update. Right now, they're not adding a ton of stuff. So there's no new effects, no new amps, no new blocks. Just some edits to the looper, two cool on-unit things, and three more plugin compatibility plugins. So, is it great? No. Is it cool? I think so. So, let's take a look at what's inside. Before we get started, if it's your first time here or if you are a Quad Cortex user, consider subscribing to this channel because I do all things digital amp modeling. I've been touring the Quad Cortex and just got back from a month-and-a-half trip overseas. I was in Germany, Switzerland, and then over to Asia and Turkmenistan. And Quad Cortex is my gear of choice on that tour, and I'm going to be having a bunch of tour vlogs of that. I also have a podcast dedicated to digital amp modeling if that's your thing. Hey, let me know what people you want to have on the podcast, any famous Quad Cortex users. Put them in the comments below and I'll try to get them on the show. But yeah, if any of that is your type of thing, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it because a lot of viewers are not subscribed. Okay, so let's dive into this update. 3.2.0. By the way, if you're going to download this, make sure you download Cortex Control first. Otherwise, you will not be able to do anything. Three plugins: Archetype, Corey Wong, Nolly, and Parallax. Parallax is for bass players, so kudos, good for you guys. You got something to brag about for a while and something cool to use. Yep, recommend 1.3. Additional plugins will be coming soon. What's new? Plugin compatibility. We talked about that. Live tuner. This is a cool one. While I'm playing, you can see that little crossbar. Useful, maybe, if that's something that you're into. To access this, as I knock the camera over, to access this, you just go to your tuner page and you see you have live tuner there, yes or no. You can turn it on or turn it off. I guess it's for people maybe that use volume pedals instead of having to press and hold the tuner now. So if you are a volume pedal user, you can now kick back your volume pedal and be able to tune live on screen without having to go into the tuner menu. So that is a very useful feature if you're somebody that does that. Or maybe that's a suggested use if you hate press holding the tuner. Looper got a really big overhaul here, a nice upgrade and some nice features. You now have the ability to use a metronome, and it's introduced pre-roll, metronome playback, and it's now measured in bars instead of time, which is pretty cool. And you can assign the actions to all the foot switches. So if we take a look, if we go to Cortex Control, you now see that the looper menu is slightly different. You have your available 4 minutes and 41 seconds of loop time. So yep, that's all the same. You go to page 2. And now you have this quantize page here where it's off. And then once you activate quantize, you now get all of this extra option. So you have pre-roll. For those of you that don't know what pre-roll is, when you hit the record button, it will give you 8 clicks. Well, in my case, this is what I would do. I would do 2 bars. So I get 8 metronome clicks before record happens. Previously, it would go, you could do it different ways, but previously you could either do it via foot switch or you could do it through the input where it recognizes your signal. Once you start playing, it'll start recording. This is nice, a little bit more professional use in my opinion. So if you're practicing a 12 bar solo, for example, you can now go over to here. Where are we here? And you can go over to page 1. And when I hit record, and then the loops just start, and you can go about your merry way looping. I'm going to erase all of that. We don't want to save any of that. So you hear the clicks. It gives you lead in, and then you can do all of your looper stuff. The metronome will be on when you record. And yeah, that's a pretty cool upgrade to the looper. Makes it very usable for practicing, especially. We've got some sidechain improvements. Follow input settings been added to sidechain compatible devices, which is the denoted by S/C sidechain. And when enabled, it automatically detects and follows the active input signal from the input blocks on the grid. This is good for things like noise gates for you high gain users, for example. You don't always want the input. You don't always want to use the input noise gate. As you see, there it is. Sometimes it gets a little bit wonky, and it's kind of just that might not be what you want to do. If you have a more high gain sound, a lot of the noise is coming from the amp section. So you can actually go here. You can go to utility, and then you have your adaptive gate, which is sidechained to your input. And you're just going to do follow input. So now you get this little icon there. So your noise gate is going to be reading input 1, but it's after everything else. It makes it a lot cleaner, and it gives you a lot better results as far as getting noise gates for high gain sounds. Then from there, we've got general user experience improvements. Dimmed LEDs can now be assigned in all modes, so you can get brightness and whatever you want to do there. In the scene editor, now you have previous and next, so it makes it a little bit easier. Cortex support. So this is, this isn't really update news, but I guess it's stuff that they feel like we should still know. Starting in August 2025, all of the quad Cortexes made are going to have a different chip somewhere or a component that's not in the old ones. And the change does not affect or compromise audio quality or anything like that. It's going to be the S variant, which is basically not going to show switches for input 1 and 2. I guess it's going to automatically read it, whether it's a quarter inch or an XLR, and I guess it's just going to read it automatically instead of having to go to your I/O settings and click mic or instrument. I guess it's going to automatically read that, and I assume that's the big difference there. And if I've got that totally wrong, somebody let me know. We got interesting stuff here: I/O settings and neural capture calibration layouts, side chaining. We talked a little bit about that before. This is really cool. I'm really excited about this. In stomp mode, tapping a device icon when you're in gig view now opens its parameter editor on the grid. So for the 5 years that I've had quad Cortex, where I've been bitching and moaning and complaining about things, we're finally starting to get there. I think this is a step in the right direction, but it's not totally there yet. So if I'm in stomp mode, the new stomp view here, or stomp edit, I'm going to call it. So this is actually a double decker. This is a custom board from Creation Music Co. This is how I tour. I literally just take this as a Sennheiser GW DX wireless. So this actually has 2 guitar wirelesses. I run my rig and my singer's rig through my one quad Cortex, and we each go mono out of each of the XLRs respectively. I've got a whole video on that if you want to check it out or ask any questions, and I can do more stuff. What I'm saying here, I can now tap the icon here. Can we see that? There we go. I can tap the icon and go right to the parameters. So now I can adjust this. I can change settings. And now without the monocle, I have to hit check, swipe, and I'm back to gig view. Or I can tap this, make my adjustments. And now from here, I can go right back to gig view. Saves you a couple steps. You could do it while you're standing, and you're not dependent on going back to the floor. Sometimes you stand up when you make an adjustment and You don't want to have to bend back down and go paging through menus. That was fine. You don't want to go back paging through menus and having to do that. Trust me when I tell you, just being on the road with it makes life a lot easier. I really like having that string velocity Monacle up there. I'll link that below if you want to pick one up. I think it's a no-brainer to add on. The downloads folder now supports multi-selection. So if you go to your directory, you go to your downloads, you can now control click, and you can do multi-select. You can select all. I didn't even realize that we couldn't do that. I don't do a lot of downloading of other people's stuff. As you can see, I've got like 2021 is probably when I got my quad Cortex, so there's not much stuff I've downloaded. So if that's, I think that's new. I just don't do it a lot. The power function previously labeled standby has now been renamed to be right back. And the settings menu has been reorganized. This I thought was a nice addition. So if I go to device settings, you've now got this nice layout here where you have everything, your connections, your brightnesses, power functions. There's your be right back that we just saw before. You can lock your QC, headphones, cab bypass, scene state, stomp mode, assignment, which should always be set to disabled. If you enable this and you let them put the stomp boxes where they want them and not where you want them, we've got problems. You should be assigning your own stomps. And I'm still zoomed in and didn't even realize. All right, so that's it for the update. Let me show you. Let's play with this preset for a second, since I just messed around with this. I'll upload this to the cloud so that y'all could check it out. It's a very simple preset. This is the amp settings that I use on tour with the Deluxe Reverb amp model. So I'm actually not touring with a with an amp capture. I've got a bunch of great captures here, some really good stuff, but for some reason I really like their 64 Deluxe vintage amp. And I know I'm going through a 412, but it's the only creamback speaker that I could find immediately in here that I wanted to mess with, because I like creamback with the Deluxe, so I'm going for that. Again, my Nordland low gain capture, that is up on whatchamacallit, on my cloud. I'm gonna reset the defaults, and I've just got some stupid stuff here: tremolo, delay, spring, stereo spring, and then the looper, which we just talked about. Always got to tune up. Nice little bass sound. Here's the this is like the sound I live on all night, is this capture into the Deluxe. Actually zoom out so you could see that I'm playing my Gibson Les Paul studio session. And this is just kind of some stuff I was messing with. Just some different effects, some analog delay. And now, while we're on a preset here, I did get the Corey Wong plugin. I don't want to make this a whole plugin review, because I don't think that that's what most people watching me on YouTube here, I don't think, want the plugin content. If you do, let me know, and then I'll make some individual videos for these. But Corey Wong, obviously great, fantastic player, so I'm curious to try some of these out. But the compressors on the plugins have been phenomenal, so I really want to try that. the 4th position compressor. So let's check this out. Nice. I'd like a little less. Maybe a little volume boost. I like these plug-in compressors. I almost think that they're worth the investment just to get that, because the Soldano compressor I think is my favorite one, but this one's really nice too. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. That I really like the compressors. You get gain reduction knobs and basic controls that are really made for guitar players. I like it. All right, so that is a run through of what you're getting in the CorOS 3.2 update from Neural DSP for your Quad Cortex. Again, subscribe if you haven't done so already for more Quad Cortex content. And if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.